Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kauna-unahang lingguhang talakayan ng mga bagong balita at batas ukol sa Australian Migration Law and Process. Tuwing Miyerkules 6 to 6:30 ng gabi mula sa AusPac Visa. AusPac Visa is a trusted Australian migration agency for Filipinos all over the world. AusPac Visa is the home for all Filipino professionals, skilled workers, partners, families, students, graduates, and trainees who want to visit, live, work, and permanently stay in Australia. Makipanayam dito sa Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kalahating oras na talakayan ng mga balita, batas, proseso, at mga isyung tungkol sa pag-a-apply ng Australian Visa. Kasama niyo po si Teresa Cardona, Director, Lawyer at Registered Migration Agent mula sa AusPac Visa sa Brisbane, Australia. Paalala lang po na ang mga talakayan at mga impormasyong mababanggit sa programang ito ay sa pawang mga impormasyon lamang at hindi payong legal.
Get it clear that there are many different visa classes. Now, some of them are holding tourist visa, student visa, PR independent, the state nominated visa 457, 482, 494, 407, the training visa, 186, and other family visas. So ito po yung mga components ng ating discussion ngayon. So sila po ang mga bida ngayon, yung mga humahawak ng mga visa o yung mga Pilipino na nandito sa Australia. We all know na if you are a visa holder, most probably you will also have work rights. So you are allowed to work in Australia. And it's inevitable, hindi po maiiwasan na magkaroon ng aksidente, magkaroon ng mga injuries o ng mga hindi ka nais-nais na bagay dun sa ating mga workplaces. Like for example, sa amin pong mga nakakasalamuha at mga nakakausap, marami tayong mga Filipinos who are community service workers. Now, they are working in home environment. So maraming mga injuries din pala o mga aksidenteng nangyayari dun sa kanilang mga trabaho. Meron din minsan na assault o kaya na may nasasaktan ng kanilang mga pinagsisilbihan. No, meron ding iba yung mga butchers, no, na nagtatrabaho sa mga meat processing companies na minsan ay nagkakaroon ng wounds or laceration sa kanilang forearms dahil sa paggamit nila ng kutsilyo o kaya ng mga ng mga yung anong tawag doon, yung mga panghiwa nila. So yung mga yung sa mga cooks naman, syempre may mga aksidente rin sa mga pagluluto. Yung mga international students natin na nag-Uber driving, no? Meron din sigurong mga aksidenteng nangyayari diyan. At dun sa ating mga fishermen, yung ating mga ano ba 'yon? Tawag sa fisherman, mangingisda. So meron ding mga problema, marami rin kaming nakausap tungkol diyan na meron din silang mga aksidenteng nangyayari doon. So and then yung mga ibang nagtatrabaho pa sa iba't ibang klaseng building industries. But before we get to that, I'd like to see the people here for the moment, no? Kasi hindi ko kayo nakikita ngayon. I don't see you. Dati-dati nababati ko yung mga naka-online, no? Pero ngayon hindi ko sila nakikita. Alam ko nandiyan kayo kasi ito ay inaantay niyong gabi. Marami nga nagpadala. Siguro si Ace ay mabibigla mamaya kasi maraming nagpadalang mga questions eh. I don't see them. Okay. Anyway, so give me maybe 2 seconds and hopefully I can see yung mga bumabati ngayon. Batiin muna natin sila. Nasaan na kaya sila? May mga audience na ba tayo? First and baka mamaya wala pang mga audience kasi sanay sila sa 6 o'clock na mga ano na makikinig. Ayan. So, batiin nyo kami kung kayo'y nandiyan na, taga saan kayo. And then, so, batiin nyo kami. Ayan. So, ayan, nakikita ko si Rona Ang. Nandiyan. Magandang gabi. Good afternoon po. And then si Rolly Rolon. Ayan, may tanong siya, how to apply factory worker. Wala pa po tayo dun sa discussion na yun. Siguro, ibang discussion po natin ngayon tungkol to sa mga injuries o mga aksidente na nangyayari sa ating mga pagtatrabaho. So, ayan. So, sige po, good afternoon kayo, gabi o kaya ay mag-like kayo sa amin para nang makita po namin na kayo ay kasalukuyang nandiyan at nakikinig sa amin. And as usual, the way we do it is if you have any questions, you are free to make or write your questions on the comment box that you have there, and then we're going to read them later on, and maybe we can direct those questions sa ating expert guest for tonight. Okay, si Laila Yokoyame ay nandito rin. Good afternoon daw from New South Wales. Okay, so we're still waiting for some more to come. Yung iba nagsabi sila na sayang hindi kami makakapunta because they're still working. But remember, our show is up to 7 o'clock tonight. So kung marami pa kaming diskusyon na maibibigay sa inyo, ibibigay namin yan sa inyo. Okay, so before we get to that, we know that there are changes with 485 visa, no skills assessment, and no more need for nominated occupation para dun sa mga 485 holders natin. And of course, meron din mga pagbabago sa 482 at tungkol naman po sa mga processing, nandiyan pa rin, medyo mabagal, pero medyo bumibilis-bilis sila ngayong week na to. Maraming mga visa grants for this week. At inaasahan natin that it's going to continue, that immigration will be quick in processing. Okay, so let's do this, no? So ang tanong po natin ay halimbawa po may mga nangyayari tayong mga nagtatrabaho na may hawak na visa dito sa Australia. What are we going to do if something happens to you and you become sick or injured in the workplace? What do you need to do? And what's going to happen to your visa? Meron bang mga remedies, no? Meron ba tayong matatakbuhan? Ngayon po, nako, sana nandito kayo lahat at panoorin nyo kung hindi kayo umabot ngayon, pwede nyo ibalik ito later on. No, so our guest speaker for tonight, he's a guest expert ng mga injury problems and issues. So we are very thankful to have him here tonight. He's very busy, but he accommodated us to be with us tonight. Now, our guest expert for tonight completed his Bachelor of Laws with honors and Bachelor of Journalism at the University of Queensland. So he started working at Little's Lawyers as a graduate in 2000 and 2016. And he was promoted to one of the partners in 2019. Wow, ang galing-galing talaga ng ating guest for tonight. Actually, he has always been our go-to lawyer pag pinag-uusapan yung mga injury cases or if our clients approach us with different issues on injuries or accident in the workplace. So ayan, drum roll tayo and palakpakan tayo. Yay! Okay, drum roll for Mr. Ace Tamayo. Yuhu! Hi, Ace.
Hi, ma'am.
How are you?
Mabuti, ma'am. Thank you for inviting me tonight. Maraming salamat na nabigyan niyo po ako ng oportunidad na makipag-usap sa ating mga kababayan tonight. And I'm very, very honored to be a guest in your very popular Facebook page and your very popular show across Australia na rin sa ating mga Pilipino. So sa ating community, Filipino community here in Australia. So I'm very excited to be here and I'm very thankful na inimbitahan niyo po ako ngayon.
Thank you very much, Ace. Actually, that is part of our advocacy ng Auspac Visa. It's to spread, correct information and to let people know that we have professionals like us, no, that they can always contact, that they can always call on sa mga issue naman talagang hindi mo pwedeng i-ignore. At ang pinaka-importante, syempre, sa atin, no, ay yung pag-iwas natin sa maraming marites sa kapaligiran, no? So they have to get the correct information so that they can make the right decision. Okay. So Ace, we're talking of injury law here, no? So ano ba yung injury law? Kasi maraming nagtatanong, ano ba ito at bakit kailangan nating i-discuss ito pagdating sa pag-uusap tungkol sa kanilang mga visa at katayuan nila dito sa Australia?
Very good question, ma'am. That's importanteng malaman natin yung ating mga karapatan bilang mga empleyado dito sa Australia. So injury law is more, we call it personal injury claim here in Australia, and I'm sure marami po sa ating mga kababayan nakikita sa mga ad kung ano ba mga personal injury claim altogether. But injury law is a type of civil action, no? So in civil action, we try to bring you back to what you were before an accident and an injury na nangyari sa inyo. And kapag na-injure kayo dahil at nagkaroon ng physical injury or mental injury or whatever that may be, then it's a situation na maaari kayong ma-compensate through monetary damages or pera dahil sa nangyaring insidente sa inyo. Maaari kung mapatunayan na merong aksidenteng nangyari at yung aksidente ay hindi ninyo kasalanan. Pangalawa, merong injury dahil dun sa incidenteng nangyari sa inyo. At pangatlo, naapektuhan yung buhay ninyo dahil sa injury nangyari sa aksidente. So, hindi tayo Diyos, wala tayong time machine na pwedeng ibalik tayo dun sa ating katayuan bago nangyari yung insidente. Pero sa batas dito sa Australia, maaari kayong magkaroon ng compensation at maaaring ibalik kayo hanggat kaya through money, through the damages that you are able to be entitled of. So in a nutshell, a personal injury claim in itself, very broad naman ang personal injury claim. It's a civil action na meron tayong mga karapatan bilang individual dito sa Australia.
Wow, ang ganda nun, Ace, no? Napakagandang konsepto ng personal injury law sa Australia, no? Which I think it's very different from what is happening in the Philippines. So in here, you try to bring them back to the original state, no? Yung katayuan nila. Although it's very hard, sabi mo nga kanina, hindi eksaktong mababalik sila doon, but at least kung ano yung kayang kunin para nang sa ganon man-normalize o maging normal ulit yung katayuan nila. Bago mangyari yung aksidente ay maibigay sa kanila. No? So, kaya kailangan nyo talaga si Ace kung halimbawang merong mangyari sa inyo. Kasi really, sometimes we don't know kung alin ba yung mga yun. Ano? Ace, meron bang particular na batas na nakapaloob dito? Medyo technical ng kaunti, pero para sa kaalaman nila, ano-ano ba yung mga batas? What are the different laws that cover this type of situation?
Marami tayong mga legislation at marami tayong mga case laws na nagpapatunay at nagbibigay sa batas kung ano ba ang dapat maging compensation ng isang claimant if they're running a personal injury claim. I'll give a few examples of the types of civil actions or personal injury claims that yung ating mga kababayan ay pwedeng they are entitled of. No? One is a motor vehicle accident claim or a compulsory third-party claim. So sa ating mga kababayan, pag meron po tayong kotse, pinaparehistro po natin yun. At pag pinarehistro po natin ang ating mga kotse, meron po tayong binabayarang insurance o CTP insurance. Kapag kayo po involved sa isang aksidente sa road at kasalanan po ninyo, ang nangyayari po nun yung insurance company po kapag na-injure niyo po yung kotse at yung driver or pasahero po ng kotse, yung insurance company po ninyo dun sa pagpe-register niyo ng CTP insurance, yung po ang maaaring mag-compensate dun sa na-injure dun sa kotse o dun sa mga taong pasahero ng kotse na yun. It's a type of civil action where you are put back to what you were before the accident, especially sa mga motor vehicle accident altogether. Meron po din tayong tinatawag na workers' compensation claim, and yun po ay yung mga kababayan natin na if they are involved in an injury at work at hindi nila kasalanan or kahit kasalanan nila, pwede nilang they are protected under the law to make claims and to claim for rehabilitation and weekly benefits kung hindi sila makapagtrabaho, to try to bring them back to the workforce. At kung kasalanan ng empleyado nila or ng kanilang employer, pwede rin silang mag-claim through a common law claim. At yun maaaring ilaban natin yung mga further losses of someone, for example, economic loss in the past, economic loss in the future, and any further damages that are available to them dahil sa nangyaring insidente o dahil sa injury na nangyari sa kanila. Meron din tayong mga insurance claims and na pwede nilang din entitlement nila na pwede nilang kunin at benepisyo para din sa kanila. Going back to the question of the difference between the Philippines and Australia, I think the big difference is dito sa Australia at sa mga Western countries, very rampant yung insurance. Yung talagang marami tayong, talagang parang it's a mandatory sa atin dito sa Australia na kailangan may insurance ka sa kotse, sa bahay, or anything else, especially sa mga sa trabaho, kailangan may insurance ang mga employer natin. Sa Philippines, hindi uso yung nagkaroon ka ng insurance. Parang kapag nabangga ka, nag-uusap na lang yung dalawa kung bayaran mo na lang yung coaching nabangga or kung tatakbuhan or anything to that effect. So hindi siya normal na, sige, ito yung aking insurance company, kausapin mo sila na mag-aasikaso sa'yo. So hindi siya normal. Well, I shouldn't be saying that, but it's not something that is quite, I don't know now, I haven't been back in years, so I don't know kung rampant pa din ba yung ganun, or sana hindi na siya ganun ka-rampant, na hindi ganun yung importance of having an insurance kotse o sa bahay or anything to that effect.
Wow, ang laki pala ng sakop ng injury and accident situations or cases sa Australia.
Lang yan, very limited pa lang yan. Hindi pa natin pinag-uusapan yung mga other personal injury claims. Pero yun yung mga common na claims na nakita natin sa ating mga kababayan, pag na-aksidente sila sa coach, sa road, or na-aksidente sila, na-injure sila sa trabaho. Kasi, for example, sa motor vehicle accident claims, ang akala lang usually ng ating mga kababayan, property damage claim lang yung pwede nilang makuha sa mga motor vehicle accident claims. Pero meron din tayong tinatawag na CTP claim o yung compulsory third party na they can claim further for any losses that they've incurred or they are incurring as a result of the injury from an accident that they're not at fault for.
Okay. So, ang dami palang pwedeng pag-usapan dito, pero
Yes, ma'am.
Pero teka, Ace, alam mo, yung mga visa holders natin, gawa nga visa holders sila, karaniwan sa kanila, natatakot mag-complain o mag-report ng mga ganyang klaseng na aksidente sila sa trabaho o kaya nagkaroon sila ng problema, natatakot sila, papunta sila sa police o magre-report or whatever. So generally, talagang may takot sila kasi ang unang iniisip nila, what's going to happen with my visa? Hindi naman ako Australian citizen, baka mawala ako sa trabaho. Anong ginagawa doon? Is it the right attitude or meron tayong dapat nilang malaman?
Hindi natin maiiwasan yung pagiging Pinoy natin na yung very resilient And I think that's one of the best traits that na meron tayo bilang mga Pilipino. But it can also backfire on us na titiisin natin ang titiisin hanggat kaya natin. Kasi wala pa namang dugo, wala pa namang fracturing, kaya ko pa naman tumayo, kaya ko pa naman bumuhat, and so on and so forth. Parang tiis hanggat kaya. Ang problema nun, if for example, pinagpatuloy mo yung ganong attitude, hindi mo rin respeto yung sarili mo. Kasi injured yung katawan mo at hindi mo binibigyang importansya yung meron ka, na iyon lang ang meron ka, yung katawan mo. You cannot have another body altogether, right? So it's a situation where you have to really respect yourself and have a mindset na itong injury na to can last a very, very long time. And I have to be compensated and I have to get back to kung ano ka before the accident. Kasi hindi natin alam kung anong pwedeng maging epekto nitong injury na to sa buhay mo in the future as well.
Tama, oo. Kasi, at saka hindi rin nila alam kung gaano pa kahaba yung buhay nila, no? At syempre, may mga pamilya rin sila na kailangan nilang tustusan. And yeah, I'd like to pick that up, yung sabi mo, yung importante yung katawan natin, no? Kasi minsan sabi nila, daliri lang naman yan eh. Halimbawa, naputol yung daliri lang naman yan, di ba?
Pero nag-iisa lang yung daliri na yan sa buong mundo. Sa'yo lang yan. So kung hindi mo, if you don't fight for it, then you're not fighting for yourself. And I keep on saying this sa mga clients natin na natatakot, lalo na kung talagang merong kasalanan o merong maling nagawa na sa mga empleyado nila, you're also not helping out future Filipinos o yung mga future nating mga kababayan na magkatrabaho sa ganung employer or ganung work. Kasi kapag hindi mo nilaban na ngayon, yung mga future na may potential na yung mga future natin mga kababayan, also ma-injure, mawala ng daliri, ma-accident kapag hindi mabago yung proseso ng mga empleyado nila.
Oo. At usually, baka iniisip niyo lang merong taong may kasalanan. Minsan, hindi yung tao. Kahit sila, hindi rin nila sinasadya, hindi ba? Minsan, nandoon sa proseso, nandoon sa sistema. No? Kapag yung sistema ay nabago, at least yung future generation or yung future employees ay magkakaroon ng ganong klaseng protection. Kung ano yung pagkakamali ay i-improve o tatanggalin o kaya babaguhin ng inyong kumpanya. So hindi dapat matakot.
Yes, ma'am. Kailangan palaban tayo kung gaano lumaban si Lapu-Lapu kay Marcela. Kapag ganoon din yung attitude natin. Huwag tayong matakot. If anything, meron tayong mga professionals, sabi nyo nga kanina, na pwedeng ilaban din naman kayo. Pero it's also a situation kasi ma'am na even if may mga abogado na lumalaban sa inyo, kailangan kayo din mismo ay lumalaban para sa sarili ninyo. Kasi kung hindi nyo nilalaban ang sarili ninyo, kahit ba lahat na ng tao sa paligid ninyo sinasabi na kaya mo yan, laban mo yan and all that, wala pa din. Kasi hindi pa rin, you will not be fully happy in the end kahit ba mabayaran ka in full compensation of what had happened to you. Kailangan laging 110% ka all in. Not just for yourself but for the future, your future, yung family, future ng pamilya ninyo at yung future din ng mga susunod na mga empleyado na maaaring maapektuhan kung hindi mabago yung sistema.
Oo, tama yan. At syempre pati sa mga professionals and yung professionalism and sa mga industries para to alleviate the standard, no, to lift up the standard ng sistema. Kasi kung alam ng mali yun, maraming nadidisgrasya tapos hindi magko-complain o natatakot, ay magtitiisan talaga kayo o magtitiis talaga kayo, no? Maganda yung sabi mo kanina, Ace, na matiisin yung mga Pilipino.
Oo nga, matiisin kasi tayo kasi parang yung mindset natin hanggat kaya, kakayanin. Minsan, hindi na nakakabuti sa atin. And then in the future, nararamdaman mo na yung mga sakit na tiniis mo dati, Um, you're in Australia probably, but you are not no longer 100% or fully able to do whatever you can do dahil nga hindi ka na well you're already injured, for example.
Yes, oo. So, ibig sabihin, ayan na, patandaan natin, tandaan natin yung sinabi ni Ace, no? Matiisin, medyo no pagdating sa trabaho at kung kayo ay nasaktan na talaga, huwag niyo nang antayin yung nasaktan ng husto na kayo ay martir na sa ginagawa niyo. Don't get to that point kasi po it's very very clear there are laws that could protect you. In order for you to function effectively as a worker, as a family members, as tatay. Kasi wag niyo lang tingnan yung function niyo siguro dun sa trabaho niyo. Kasi first and foremost, tatay din kayo kung kayo ay may pamilya, kapatid din kayo and things like that. Okay, now natatakot sila. Sabi nila hindi daw sila Australian citizen. May pagkakaiba treatment sa Australian citizen at sa mga visa holders?
Dapat ma'am, wala. Wala dapat. It's a situation na kapag empleyado ka dito sa Australia, ang karapatan mo sa any workers' compensation claim or parehas sa isang Australiano. Parehas din po yan. Kunwari, nagkaroon ka ng aksidente sa road or sa motor vehicle accident claims, no? Or even sa mga mall. Kunwari, nadulas ka sa mall, that's a public liability claim. Kahit isa kang turista at na-aksidente ka dito sa Australia, so naman sana, pero kung may mga instances na nangyari yun, you can still run as a compulsory third-party claim kahit ba ikaw ay turista at na-aksidente ka sa road. Siyempre, yung mga turista natin hindi naman pwede magtrabaho dito sa Australia dahil bawal yun. Pero kapag yung visa mo ay nag-a-allow sa iyo na magtrabaho at na-aksidente ka sa trabaho, may karapatan ka din na ilaban yan sa workers' compensation claim.
Okay, yeah, that's very clear, huh? So it doesn't matter whether you are a temporary visa holder in Australia or permanent visa, Australian citizen, pare-pareho po tayo. Sabi nga ni Ace, yung daliri, isang daliri, sa'yo lang talaga yan. Hindi mo pwedeng hiramin yung daliri nung kabila at pag nasaktan yan o nawala yan, then you have the right to claim for whatever it is, either in compensation or something else. Siguro, let's ask Ace sa kanyang mga kasong hinahawakan. Alam niyo si Ace, napakagaling nito ha. Sa mga kaso na hinahawakan niya. Share sa amin, Ace, kasi sabi mo kanina, merong motor vehicle, tapos merong mga workplace injuries, may mga personal injuries, okay? Share mo sa amin yung mga cases mo. Hindi na natin babanggitin yung mga pangalan nila, but the general story and ano kaya yung mga nangyari sa kanila.
Okay, start tayo ma'am sa motor vehicle accident claims, yung mga different types. So, for example, isang turista, pamangkin niya at siya ay isang Australiano, Pilipino, nagdadrive papuntang Gold Coast. At dahil sa nagdadrive siya, syempre, may posibilidad na ma-aksidente sila. At for some reason, habang we were touring around the Gold Coast, na-rear end yung kotse nila. Nung na-rear end yung kotse nila, syempre, hindi naman nila kasalanan yun kasi at the end of the day, it's prima facie facts that kailangan yung kotse na nasa likod magkaroon ng certain amount of distance from the car in front of you. Pero ang ginawa nitong kotse na bumangga dun sa ating kapwa Pilipino, binangga pa din dahil nagsispeeding. On that situation na nagkaroon ng soft tissue injuries, itong si driver na Pilipino-Australiano at yung kanyang turistang pamangkin. Ang ginawa nila, and this is what sa ating mga kababayan, ito dapat yung ating gawin. Number one, dapat talk to yourself or like see whether you are injured and whether you're feeling pain. And if you are, number one, call the ambulance and call the police. Once you've contacted the police and you've contacted the ambulance, then it's a situation na hintayin natin sila. Kung hindi naman aggressive yung bumangga sa inyo, katulad ng nangyari dun sa Pilipino at dun sa kanyang pamangkin, kausapin nyo yung bumangga sa inyo at mag-exchange kayo ng details. Wala namang masama dun. So, kuhanan nyo ng pictures yung kotse at yun ang ginawa ng ating mga kababayan. At ang ginawa nila, nag-exchange sila ng details. So, pwedeng exchange nyo yung property damage insurance nila para asikasuhin yung kotse. At if, for example, meron din ibigay yung number nila, mag-exchange na rin kayo ng number at yung mga driver's license as well. Once na nag-exchange, pwede nyo nang hintayin yung police at pwede nyo nang hintayin yung ambulance. The ambulance will then be able to treat you sa anumang pains. Yun din ang nangyari dun sa pamangkin at dun sa Pilipino nating driver. At yung police na ang mag-interrogate dun sa inyo at dun sa bumangga sa inyo. And then kung kailangan yung pumunta sa hospital, kung hindi kayo okay, syempre medyo mixed emotions pa yan, katulad nga nung nangyari dun sa driver, mostly dun sa driver than the passenger, pumunta sila sa hospital, sa emergency. At maaaring, in her case, she was discharged on the same day. Pero patuloy pa rin niyang naramdaman yung kanyang injury. Dahil sa nangyari, naapektuhan yung buhay nilang dalawa. Si turista, she has to go back to Cebu. Actually, isa siyang teacher sa Cebu at naapektuhan yung kanyang trabaho sa Cebu din. Bumalik siya ng Pilipinas and we continued running the claim. With regard to the Filipino na nandito sa Australia, naapektuhan din yung kanyang trabaho kasi quite physical yung trabaho niya. She was an assistant, AIN, assistant in nursing, at very physical yung trabaho. At dahil doon, nagkaroon siya ng yung efficiency niya sa trabaho bumaba at hindi na siya nakabalik sa kanyang normal duties. So in those circumstances, it is a situation where they can be entitled for a compulsory third-party claim or yung CTP claim. So yun yung ginawa nila at sa tulong namin at sa tulong ng mga abogado, we were able to try to argue three things. And tick the boxes of the three elements. So we always, we want to make it basic sa ating mga kababayan or sa ating mga kliyente. Number one, na merong aksidente na hindi nila kasalanan. Number two, nagkaroon ng injury dahil dito sa aksidente. At number three, nagkaroon ng interference sa kanilang buhay dahil sa aksidente, dahil sa injury yung nangyari sa kanila that they sustained as a result of the accident per se. From then, ang trabaho namin bilang mga abogado at aming ginawa dun sa aming mga kliyente o sa kliyente Pilipino at dun sa teacher na nasa Cebu na, we quantify them as a person. Yung contrasting of what they were before the accident and the effects of this injury in their life and the projection of it in the future. Dito sa Australia, hindi sila masyadong mahilig pumunta sa korte. We try to mitigate and try to resolve the matter outside of court. So ang proseso nun, dispute resolution, we try to resolve it outside of court. Yun ay parte ng proseso naman talaga na dapat gawin ng mga abogado at ng mga kliyente dito sa Australia. And then from then, it's a situation na pupunta tayo sa isang mediation. At yung kung anong napapanood natin sa suits, for example, sa mga series ng mga abogado na nagtatry na to settle the matter sa isang room, ganoon din yung mangyayari. And we try to put forward an argument to the insurance company. Hindi yung driver na bumangga, yung insurance company ng kotse nang bumangga sa inyo. At doon tayo mag-argue with regard to a compensation claim and a settlement through monetary. So we try to bring you back to a projection, to a notional argument of what you could have been in the future if not for the injury that you sustained from the accident. And medyo mahirap yun kasi paano mo nga i-quantify yung tao. And yun yung trabaho natin bilang mga plaintiff civil litigator dito sa Australia. Yun yung ating ginagawa at yun po yung ating ginagawa on a regular basis. So yun, and then eventually they accepted an offer. Yung nasa Pilipinas, inaccept niya yung offer sa mediation. Yung nandito sa Australia, doing sa mediation, we advise na hindi yung offer mukhang hindi representative of it doesn't represent the loss in itself. So tinanong namin si client, gusto mo bang ilaban pa ito sa korte? So nilaban niya sa korte, and we cannot go to court unless we are instructed to do so, and yun ang in-instruct sa atin ni client. And even before going to trial, we were able to settle, and now she is now well compensated for the effects of the injury that she sustained from the accident. And we recently settled that matter a few weeks ago, and she was very, very happy of the result.
Wow, ang galing naman. Ako. Teka muna, Ace, medyo na ano ko dun, ano? Yung pumunta sa Cebu ba o sa
Yes, ma'am.
Sikihor? Oo,
Sa Cebu.
pwede pala yun, ano? Kahit na umuwi sila sa Philippines, the claims can still continue.
Yes, ma'am. So meron akong client na Brazilian naman, bumalik na ng Brazil. At kahit na bumalik siya ng Brazil, at meron din mga taga sa Colombia, ay bumalik na siya sa Colombia, and the motor vehicle accident claim is a compulsory third-party claim and still continued.
Oo, naitanong ko yan, Ace, kasi alam mo yung iba, sabi nila, di bali na lang, uuwi naman na ako bukas, pabayaan na yan. Parang ganun yung attitude, di ba?
Oo nga eh. Ako, yun, ma'am. Kasi kahit bumalik ka ng Pilipinas o lumipat ka ng ibang bansa, ganoon pa rin yung injury, hindi na mawawala yan. At you have to live with it. So might as well get compensated for the injury that you sustained.
Oo, so pagkatapos may mga medical check-ups involved ba diyan, Ace? Like for example, nasa Philippines siya kasi, no?
Opo, and one of the elements is the confirming that there is an injury as a result of the accident. So we need to, hindi lang pwede na masakit yung likod ko, masakit yung leeg ko, masakit yung shoulder ko, sumasakit yung ulo ko, or hindi na ako makayupo ng mabuti. Siyempre, kailangan natin yan ng mga medical evidence and ebidensya na mapapatunay na talagang naapektuhan yung katawan mo. I keep on saying this to my team here in Australia and my immediate team at Little Sawyer. So I keep on saying to them and to my clients as well, we need to show black and white evidence. Yung talagang walang pwedeng itanong or i-argue against dun sa evidence na meron tayo. Kasi kapag black and white yung ebidensya ipakita mo, yan na yan. Wala na yang, hindi mo na pwedeng sabihin na, there's a bit of emotional attachment to it, and so on and so forth. It's just a matter of take it as is.
Yes, oo. At kailangan authoritative yung mga evidence. Hindi lang yung basta sinabi ng kapitbahay mo na hindi yan nakabangon kahapon dahil masakit yung likuran, no? It doesn't count, no? So dapat authoritative. So yung ebidensya talaga.
Meron din naman pala, sorry ma'am, no?
Okay,
just
sige.
to what you mentioned, there are instances as well where we can get further evidence on top of that, and additional to the medical evidence of, for example, statements of co-workers, of your supervisor, of your husband or your wife, or yung mga anak ninyo, or yung mga kaibigan ninyo na magpapatunay na meron kayong na naapektuhan yung buhay ninyo. So pwedeng i-add on to the evidence on that. Pero syempre hindi naman pwedeng yung asawa ninyo na hindi naman doktor ang magko-confirm na injured kayo. Siyempre, kailangan, tama po kayo doon na kailangan to confirm of an injury, kailangan yung mga specialista, yung mga doktor na nag-aral talaga ng medicine and all that na magpapatunay na meron talaga kayong injury.
Pero tama, Ace, kasi importante yun Doon natin mapapakita o doon yung siguro mapapakita yung pagbabalik doon sa kung ano siya before.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And we get experts as well, no? We get experts such as an orthopedic surgeon or a neurosurgeon or a psychiatrist to be able to confirm kung ano ba yung extent ng injury at yung epekto nitong injury sa buhay nila, not just now but also in the future.
Yes. Okay. So mga kaibigan, nandun pa lang tayo sa motor vehicle claims. Yung pa lang, first example ni Ace, no? Pag nagkaroon kayo ng aksidente sa road, binigay niya kanina anong gagawin. So ayun, wala nang kasing linaw yun. Tumawag ng ambulansya, tumawag ng police. But first of all, sabi ni Ace, assess niyo muna kung nagkaroon ng injury or anong nangyari sa inyo. and then tumawag ng police, tumawag ng ambulance, and then in some cases, pwede kayong mag-exchange details ng kabilang party. Ace, motor vehicle pa lang yun, no? Meron pa tayong ibang example para sa
Yes,
ibang
ma'am.
klaseng injury. Okay, sige. Ang sarap magkwento ni Ace.
Grabe
Okay.
naman, ma'am. Okay. It's actually really good kasi na-exercise yung aking Tagalog, ang aking pagsasalita ng Tagalog kasi it's always good. Minsan nakaka-nosebleed din mag-English all the time. No?
Yes.
So, but it's also good to speak our native language, and I think that's what Little Source also does. No, we have many lawyers who speak different languages, from Japanese to Vietnamese, from Filipino, from African, and so on and so forth. So very multicultural ang aming law firm, and it is representative of, it represents Australia in itself. No, I think it's very good na hindi, kasi tayo mga Pilipino magaling tayo mag-English, hindi naman natin kailangan, we don't have any issues with that, but it's more so of understanding the culture, the person, yung understanding the person. Kasi pag meron kang personal injury claim at naapektuhan talaga yung buhay mo, kailangan na yung abogado mo ay naiintindihan ka talaga, naiintindihan hindi lang yung lengguwahe mo, pati na rin dapat yung kultura at kung yung mga tradisyon na rin ng mga kliyente namin. But yes, ma'am.
Actually, Ace, tama. Buti nabanggit mo yung tungkol sa lengguwahe. Actually, yung mga napapadala namin sa yung mga kliyente, yun agad ang sinasabi nila. Kasi, I'm not an injury lawyer. I am dealing with migration issues. Pero nagsasabi sila sa akin because they thought I can help them. Yun agad yung sinasabi nila, wala bang Pilipino na pwede, ma'am, gusto namin Pilipino because they can express themselves well. Especially yung mga yung mga trades natin, pati yung mga estudyante, no. Pero marami namang mga professionals, they're quite happy to to speak in English dahil they're okay. Pero minsan pag masakit ka na, nasasaktan ka na, parang ito yung panahon na gusto mo talagang magsalita ng Tagalog eh.
Oh.
'Di ba? Para talagang feel yung pagsasabi mo.
Tama kayo dyan, ma'am. No? I think mas nagiging komportable yung mga Pilipino kapag yung hindi na nila iniisip o tinatranslate yung sinasabi nila bago nila maibanggit dun sa mga taong ipaglalaban sila.
At saka yun yung tama, no? Yun yung actual na nararamdaman nila. Kasi wala nang translation sa isip nila eh, no?
Natural. And it actually, it's good. And it makes our job easier as well bilang mga advocate ng ating mga kababayan na hindi na kailangan kasi we need to understand the entirety of a person's claim. So, nagiging, we have to understand not just the injury in itself or the accident, but their lives. And minsan, you tend to not give so much of yourself kapag hindi ka komportable sa tao kinakausap mo. Pero kapag nakapagsalita ka ng Tagalog, taga Quezon City pala, taga Ilocos Norte ka pala, taga Lawag or taga Pampanga, whatever that may be. Then nagiging mas komportable ka at naibabanggit mo talaga sa abogado mo kung ano talagang nararamdaman mo. Going back to your question dun sa
sige. Okay. Very interesting.
Yes, ma'am. So another type of action that we usually get on a personal injury claim, no, hindi lang motor vehicle accidents, but I think mostly, and siguro ito rin yung mga nakukuha po ninyong mga clients or mga questions o mga queries sa inyo, yung mga naa-aksidente sa trabaho.
Yes.
Ating mga kapwa Pilipino na binibigay yung lahat-lahat sa kanilang mga employer, pero kapag na-injure na sila, yung mga utang na loob na tinatawag na, well, they will give me a sponsorship and so on and so forth, which I totally understand, no? Kasi kung nandun din naman tayo sa sitwasyon nila, hindi natin maiiwasan to think twice kapag na-injure tayo sa trabaho, kung itatago na lang ba natin o ibabanggit natin kung ano talagang nangyari. Going back to what I said earlier on, no, we have to respect ourselves. We have to respect our body. So kapag na-injure ka sa trabaho, kahit ba na na-slice lang ng knife o ng whatever that may be ang inyong kamay, ang first thing that you have to do, aside from obviously going to the clinic and getting yourself checked sa inyong mga I don't know, kumpanya o mga faktorya, you have to make an incident report.
Yeah.
Okay? So, sino yan? O paano yan? Usually, yung mga incident report na yan, na nababanggit yan or na nasasabi sa mga supervisor or sa mga team leader ng inyong mga kumpanya or ng inyong mga trabaho. So kung sino man yung direct supervisor ninyo o kung may HR department kayo, puntahan ninyo at sabihin ninyo na at this time dito, today o kung kailan nangyari, kung saan nangyari, at sabihin ninyo kung ano yung nangyari. Okay? Kung may mga witnesses dun sa nangyaring insidente, ang gagawin ninyo, tanungin ninyo yung mga naka-witness kung maaari ba nilang i-confirm kung ano yung nangyari. At sabihin nyo rin dun sa supervisor ninyo kung ano yung mga naging, kung sino yung mga naka-witness ng incidente itself. Very, very important yung incident report kasi dyan din magbabase ang mga workers' compensation claim kung paano ba nangyari yung insidente, kung saan nangyari yung insidente, kung kailan nangyari yung insidente, kung ano yung injury na nangyari.
Ace, want to stop you with that at that point. Kasi merong mga nakakarating dito sa amin na they can't write the report, no? Minsan ginagawaan ng report ng HR o ng kung sino man doon sa mga doon sa kanilang opisina. Pagkatapos, pag binasa na nila yung report, sasabihin nila, hindi naman ito yung totoong nangyari, but they were asked to actually sign the report. So, paano yon? Kailangan na ba nilang kumonsulta sa lawyer once they receive the report na talagang disagreeable para sa kanila?
Marami tayong mga incidenteng ganyan. So, thank you for asking that question. No? I think the short answer is, bakit nyo pipirmahan ng hindi naman tama o hindi naman totoo? So, sometimes we think too much. If the color is just red or the color is orange, it's just orange. Hindi pongkan o anything to that effect. No? Kung hindi tama yung nakasulat dun sa papel, bakit mo i-confirm at pipirmahan? Diba? So, don't be afraid na kailangan o ma-pressure kayo na kailangan pirmahan na ninyo yung dokumento kung hindi naman tama yung nakasulat dun sa dokumento. Hindi mo naman pipirmahan ng isang dokumento na mali yung pangalan na nakalagay doon. Hindi mo naman, if you're applying for, I don't know, a passport, hindi mo naman pipirmahan yung pangalan ng ibang tao, yung mukha ng ibang tao. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. If the incident report is not reflective of the true incident in itself, then don't sign it. If, for example, napipressure kayo, then tawagan nyo.
Yun ang kasunod kong tanong. Kasi minsan, sasabihin ko sa kanila, tawagan nyo ang injury lawyer so that they can explain to you kung anong gagawin nyo. Kasi may mga dala silang papel, eto daw yung report, no? Pero ang susunod na tanong nila, ma'am, may bayad po ba? Wala akong pera. Ano bang sitwasyon doon? Paliwanag mo nga, Ace. Para
wala,
naman
ma'am.
hindi...
Wala pong... I've always been an advocate of educating our community as you know, as cheesy as that may sound, no. Immigrant din po ako dito sa Australia. Hindi ko rin po alam yung aking mga rights initially when I arrived here, but eventually I studied it and I'm now an advocate to make sure that, you know, education is quite important to our community, and educating them is something that I would want to do.
Of course.
Moving forward, and we're doing the exact same thing, ma'am. No? So I thank you for that. Wala pong kailangang wag yung isipin yung pera o yung bayad, no. Isipin niyo yung impormasyon na pwede niyo makuha sa amin. Hindi naman, it's not a situation that and I get calls on a Sunday 8 a.m. morning, at 6 a.m. or even at 11 p.m. on a Thursday night, and I can still, as much as I can, if I can answer it, I will answer it, because tama si Kael Libanon, di ba, sabi niya, knowledge is power. And it's a situation where if you are informed, then you are able to know what you can and what you should not be doing and what you should be doing as well. So sa amin, sa Little's Lawyers, you don't have to worry about paying upfront of any kung magkaroon na naman kayo kung anong gagawin ko kapag na-aksidente ako o na-injure kayo, wala namang mawawala din sa akin kung sabihin ko sa inyo kung ang dapat gawin. If anything, mas magkakaroon pa ako ng good vibes kasi alam ko makakatulong ako sa kapwa ko Pilipino. And you don't have to worry about it on an initial basis, especially kung for example may laban talaga at tingin namin hindi tama yung nangyari sa inyo, then we will then ask you and invite you to come to our office, and if komportable kayo at gusto niyo talagang ilaban, dun pa lang magkakaroon ng agreement, and in those circumstances as well, kami sa Little Source ay maaari namin i-assist kayo na hindi nyo kailangan magbayad ng anything upfront.
That's really good to know. Okay, so nadinig nyo ha, hindi kayo kailangan matakot, either matakot na mawala ng trabaho o kaya matakot na magbayad kasi wala pong bayad. Ayan, sinasabi na sa inyo ni Ace, no? Ang pinaka-importante, magkaroon ng assessment kung matutulungan niya ba kayo at kung gusto niyo ng tulong at kung gusto niyo magkakaroon ba yan ng epekto sa future niyo, no? But before we keep going, so baka meron kayong mga tanong dyan, yung mga tagapakinig natin ngayon. Kung meron kayong mga tanong dyan, we're speaking in Tagalog. So pwede nyo rin pong ilagay yung mga tanong nyo dyan in Tagalog. Babasahin namin mamaya. Nang sa ganun ay baka gusto nyo rin mag-share kung ano yung mga naging karanasan nyo na tungkol dito sa mga injuries nyo sa trabaho. No, pinag-uusapan namin kanina ni Ace yung workplace injury, no? Parang ang dami-dami nito, Ace. Tapos yung mga international students, and then yung mga 485 holders natin, yung ang tawag dito yung mga COVID visa holders natin, no? Ano ba? Ano ba yung kailan nila malalaman na injury na pala yun? Kasi parang minsan hirap silang i-determine na injury na pala yun at dapat na nagre-reklamo na sila. Paano ba yan?
Naku ma'am, mahirap na tanong yan kasi pain, I keep on saying pain is subjective. Only the person who's feeling the pain can actually confirm how painful the pain is, right?
That's really good. Okay.
So it's a situation na ang pain ng isang tao yung kanyang ano bang tawag dito, yung kanyang way in which of dealing with that pain, the tolerance of that pain is different from each and every one. I guess it's a situation na kasi kapag may blood o may biguna, saka pa lang natin sasabihin, ay na-injure ako. Hindi. Muscle pain,
mental
state as well. If you're feeling anxiety, psychological injury, it's also something kasi medyo tabu yan sa ating mga kababayan. So yun yung ating ayan, may si Nikki Anasi, nakita ko rin sa kanyang question, covered po ba sa injury law ang mental health? Watching from Brazil.
Ayan na, tinatanong na.
Sakto kasi nabanggit natin yan. Absolutely, kapag naapektuhan na ang inyong mental health dahil sa pressure o sa trabaho, naapektuhan na kayo, maaari kayong mag-claim ng workers' compensation claim. Sabi ko nga kanina, you have to make an incident report, you have to inform your supervisor of what you're feeling, be it physical or mental pain, and then from then, it's a situation that you go to a doctor, and then the doctor would then be able, hindi ako doktor, pero yung mga doktor na pinupuntahan natin would be able to confirm to the extent of what your the injury in itself. And then from then, you can now, if it happened at work, whilst you're working, then you can lodge a worker compensation claim, and then it will be a situation na iimbestigahan ng going back to the form in itself, ng mga 1 to 2 pages so naman to, you can do it online, you can do it through your doctor na confirming medical certificate mo, and then from then i-investigate ng workers compensation or ng work cover o yung insurance ng inyong mga employer kung ma-accept o ma-reject ba yung claim ninyo. Kapag na-accept, you are now in that statutory stage or the first stage of a workers' compensation claim, meaning you are now entitled for any weekly benefits, hindi yung buong sweldo mo before the accident. A portion of your what you're earning before the accident would then be provided to you through weekly benefits. And kapag hindi ka makapagtrabaho or you cannot go back to your work, no? And it's also a situation that they will also be paying your rehabilitation, be it the physio, going to the doctor, or going to the chiro, or going to a psychologist, and whatever that may be. It's also going to be a case na pwede ring ma-refund yung mga, for example, travel ninyo from your house to the medical practitioner or dun sa mga doktor na pinupuntahan ninyo, at kung umiinom kayo ng analgesics, ng Panadol, or kung anumang medisina na kailangan ninyo dahil sa injury ninyo, pwede din yan ma-refund ng work cover. And from then, hanggat hindi pa kayo okay, at ang backing naman ito ng mga medical certificate ng inyong doktor, in coordination with work cover, patuloy yung inyong magiging statutory claim. And then from then, hanggat ma-cleared kayo, it is a situation where it is a situation na hindi matatapos yung claim ninyo. Ang hindi na ibabanggit usually yung pagkakataon ng ating mga claimants or yung mga workers' compensation of a lump sum claim in the end for any permanent impairment as a result of an accident at work. Hindi yan masyadong na ibabanggit throughout the claim kasi ang mindset mag-rehabilitate, di ba? We want to bring you back to what you were before the accident. Tama yun. Pero kapag permanente na yung injury ninyo sa trabaho, kailangan din ma-compensate yung inyong mga permanent impairment through a lump sum payment. And that's something that you can request through work cover, and that's something that we can also assist. Ngayon, once that is done, first stage pa lang yun. We can then now proceed to a second stage of a workers' compensation claim through a common law claim kapag we can now prove na number one, merong maling nangyari sa inyo at there was something wrong done to you. For example, yung door defective at bumagsak yung door sa ulo ninyo. Or for example, nalaglag kayo sa stairs kasi may butas yung stairs. Hindi safe yung environment na tinabahuhan ninyo, and so on and so forth. And many other examples, no? Once we can prove that, and we can, rule of thumb, we can pinpoint someone or we can pinpoint an employer who is at fault, we can then now go to the next step of confirming an injury, and then like what I said earlier on, the effects of this injury in your life. And with that common law, we then now gather all of the evidence and try to argue of damages, and then put forward that to the insurance company, which in this case is work cover. And then kapag mag-settle tayo outside of court, we finish that kasi now it's a quantification of you as a person sa common law. Kapag hindi nag-settle, we can then ask the client if he or she or they want to proceed to instituting the matter to court.
Okay. So actually, Ace, yun nga yung kasunod din na tanong ko. Kasi sabi nila, ang bait-bait naman ng employer namin. Lagi kaming merong mga trainings, kompleto lahat yun. Kapag kami nakitang basa sa flooring, inililinis agad yun. Marami namang signage everywhere. Tapos meron, tinuturuan din sila yung mga procedures and right handling of equipments and yung mga devices na kailangan nila. Kaya minsan sabi nila, naku, nakakahiya naman kay employer. At ang pinaka ibang pananaw dito is yung their thoughts of we are partly to be blamed kasi it's our fault. So anong sitwasyon doon? Kailangan bang ma-determine sinong negligent, sino bang may duty of care, or ano ba, meron bang tawag dito, meron bang kapabayaan sa parte ng iba, no? Parang nabanggit mo kanina yun eh. So kasi yung mga Pilipino ay kasalanan ko rin naman kasi parang ganoon, no? So paano yun? Meron pa ba silang claim in that situation?
Ma'am, it's a situation where kung kine-question nyo kung meron bang maling ginawa yung employer ninyo at hindi kayo sigurado, tanungin nyo yung maaaring magbigay sa inyo ng ng sagot na makumpirma kung meron bang kasalanan o wala ang inyong empleyado, ang inyong employer. Hindi ito yung inyong co-worker o yung supervisor ninyo o yung mga kaibigan ninyo. Kausapin nyo yung mga abogado na ito yung ginagawa sa kanilang hanap buhay at kung ano yung alam nila para maibigay yung impormasyon kung meron ba silang kaso o wala. Siyempre, kung talagang kasalanan nila, kung meron talaga silang maling nagawa at wala talagang maling ginawa yung employer nila, bakit mo ilalaban kung kasalanan mo naman talaga? And that's just with a common law claim. Pero even if, for example, you probably think that you are the reason for the injury in itself, it doesn't stop you from running a statutory claim or you're getting compensation for your weekly benefits or any rehabilitation. Kahit tingin ninyo ay parang may kasalanan ako. Kapag na-aksidente kayo sa trabaho, mag-apply kayo ng workers' compensation claim, so you guys would be, parang safety net siya para hindi kayo, para magkaroon kayo ng benepisyo habang hindi kayo 100% sa inyong trabaho.
Oo, yun pa sa compensation. Maraming sinasabi nila ayaw kong mag-compensation kasi liliit daw yung sweldo nila from the original sweldo nila ng weekly. Totoo ba yun? Tama ba yun?
Ma'am, hindi po binabayaran ng workers' compensation yung buong amount of your weekly benefits. Tama po yun. Certain amount of it is only going to be compensated to them. No, it's a situation that yun maaaring ang maging for them it's not going to be good for them, but it's also a case of you have to, again, going back to the basics ano ba yung katawan nyo yun, nag-iisa lang yan bakit mo why are you going to settle for anything less? For example, kung you have to sacrifice 25% of your weekly salary to run a compensation claim, but then this will help you to get back to what you were before the accident, and also a situation where you are able to get rehabilitation paid for you and funded for you para maibalik ka dun sa inyong nararamdaman sa inyong katawan bago nangyaring aksidente, then you have to weigh it in as well. Mahirap, pero hindi nyo din ginusto na ma-aksidente at you just want to make sure that you are fully compensated for the injury that you sustained.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so tandaan nyo, no? Dalawang klase, pwede sa statutory claim and pwede rin sa common law claim. No? So, medyo mahaba yun. Pero unahin yung statutory claim, and then they will make an assessment kung pwede sa common law claim. And usually, yung lump sum compensation ay nandoon sa common law claims.
Sa statutory claim.
Sa statutory
as well, pero ang hindi na ibabanggit sa atin o hindi normal na napag-uusapan sa statutory claim, meron din kayong karapatan for a lump sum payment in the end. So if, for example, you are already cleared by a doctor to go back to your normal duties, it doesn't necessarily mean na 100% na pa rin yung katawan ninyo. And there is what we call a medical assessment of a specialist for your injury itself na pwede kayong i-assess kung may permanent impairment na kayo. Yung permanent impairment na yun sa batas ng work cover, sa legislation, what will happen is they will then convert those permanent impairment, kung meron man, into a lump sum payment. And if it is then they will then offer it to the claimant in itself. The claimant would then confirm whether they would want to accept it, reject it, or get reassessed.
So mahaba ba yung proseso, Ace, kung halimbawang magkaroon ng ganyan?
Ma'am, kasing haba ng injury until when your injury becomes stable and stationary.
Okay.
When your injury will be stable and stationary, meaning kung hanggang kailan the Filipino I'll try to speak as much Filipino as I can, no?
Yep, sure.
Yung hanggat yung injury mo hindi pa stable and stationary, meaning lahat na ng rehabilitation na nagawa at wala na hindi na nag-change, that's it. Or
Yep.
fully recovered ka na, or hindi ka nga fully recovered pero hangga't dyan na lang yung yan na yan, permanent na yung injury mo, then that is something what we call a stable and stationary injury. Hangga't naging stable and stationary yung injury mo, that can be a gauge of how long the claim can be. But having said that, ma'am, no, if it is lasting for quite some time, then it means that your injury is quite severe. So it is actually good that you're running a workers' compensation claim kasi hindi kayo ang nagbabayad para maging okay kayo. Yung insurance company ang nagbabayad para mabayaran yung mga rehabilitation na kailangan ninyo.
So insurance company. So you really have to wait dun sa maging stable. And how important is that, Ace, na kailangan makita talaga na stable and stationary yung injury sa claim?
Ma'am, very important yun kasi yun din yung magpapatunay kung hanggang dun na lang yung pwedeng maitulong ng workers' compensation sa inyo. And it also is a case where, stable and stationary is, we have to also understand na pwede rin mangyari na yung injury mo ay fully recovered ka na. At kapag fully recovered ka na, then obviously it's a case where, you can return back to your workforce, and if there's any permanent impairment, you can request for a permanent impairment assessment.
So, Ace, is it okay to talk about numbers now? Compensation. Any idea or any example, concrete example? Ano bang pinag-uusapan natin dito? Ano ba tong may mga dollars ba dyan na mag-aantay para makatulong sila sa pagbabalik nila dun sa dati nilang kalagayan? Is there anything like that? Siguro, in terms of dollars, siguro, do you have any specific example para magkaroon ng idea yung ating mga tagapakinig?
Ma'am, very, very good question nanyo. Very, very good question yan. If anything, it's very hard to put a number to each and every case and just say na kapag nagkaroon ka ng injury na ganito at kapag nagkaroon ka ng aksidente na ganito yung makukuha mo. Each and every person is different. And the quantification of each and every person will be completely different from one another, no? Kahit ba parehas kayo ng injury, kahit ba parehas yung aksidente nangyari sa inyo, kahit ba parehas yung inyong empleyado, kahit ba parehas ang edad ninyo, yung katawan mo is different from another person. So in terms of numbers, it can go up to 6 figures to 7 figures of settlement money if mapatunayan talaga na yung inyong injury karapat-dapat na ma-settled or ma-compensate in that amount.
I see. Okay. So, I think sige
what
pa.
I can say, sorry no, what I can say as well, no, kapag merong mga abogado na nagbibigay sa inyo, sa ating mga kababayan ng numbers, dun sa initial consultation nila, kahit wala pang ebidensya, it's just a situation that this is the first time that they're hearing them, or they're hearing the story without any evidence at hand. It's a bit of a red flag. If, for example, sinasabi na ng abogado na, ito yung pwede mong makuha. Kasi how can you quantify a person or the claimant itself without proper due diligence?
Yes, oo. Okay, may tanong na pinadala sa akin dito yung ibang kliyente natin. Sabi niya, nag-claim na daw siya ng injury dahil I suffered 2 months ago. Okay, I made a claim for the injury I suffered 2 months ago, but until now, there are no results yet. My visa is running out. Can I stay in Australia until my compensation claim settles?
So I think it's more so of an immigration lawyer question than the entitlement for you to stay in Australia because of an injury that you sustained from an accident. I think it would be best for an immigration lawyer to answer that. But kung, for example, yung ating kababayan hindi pa rin naproproseso yung kanyang claim, or hindi pa natatapos ang kanyang claim, altogether, I'm more than happy to have a chat with them and see how it exists with regard to that, no. But sabi ko nga, kapag may workers' compensation claim ka at you have to go back to the Philippines, although if it's on a statutory claim, it's likely that the claim will then cease because you're no longer in Australia. But obviously there are other situation that we can obviously discuss. But and even if you proceed to common law, pwede ka pa rin mag-proceed with the claim kahit nasa ibang bansa ka na.
Yeah, oo, that is correct. Pero well, in terms of migration, if your visa is running out and you still have pending claims, well, you can apply for an appropriate visa for you to be able to stay in Australia if you want to attend to those things. Pero walang specific visa na pwedeng applyan para sa injury claim visa. Wala tayong ganon, ano? So it's either you continue on with visa kung say for example, kung ikaw ay naka-student visa and an injury happened and then you claim, well, most probably hindi ka na rin naka-attend ng klase mo, baka nag-defer ka ng iyong klase, then maybe you can apply for another student visa for you to be able to finish your classes while the claims is pending, I think. So pwede yung ganoon, no? Yung pa isa, ano sabi nito? Nag-Uber siya. I am an international student. I don't have a permanent part-time job. But I recently purchased a second-hand car, which I used to deliver food for Uber. Kasi nag-Uber daw siya. Pero nagkaroon daw siya ng aksidente. Anong gagawin niya doon? So, hindi pa siya nag-report ng kaso, pero hindi pa siya nag-report o nag-claim nung covered ba yung mga ganon, yung mga Uber drivers tapos naka-temporary visa holder, nagkaroon ng aksidente. Covered pa rin sila, right?
If for motor vehicle accidents, kahit ikaw yun nga, tourist visa, student visa, or you are on any type of visa, or if you're Australian altogether, you can make a compulsory third-party claim. You can see whether you are entitled of such if, for example, you suffered an injury as a result of the accident per se. I think ang kanyang question kung kahit second-hand car or kahit hindi kanyang kotse na-aksidente siya, that's absolutely fine even if hindi mo kotse yung ginamit mo at nabangga ka at na-injure ka dahil sa pagbangga sa'yo. It doesn't really matter if, for example, kotse ng kaibigan mo, kotse ng nanay mo, o kotse ng girlfriend o boyfriend mo, and that's the reason why and you were involved into that. No, you are insured dun sa kotse na yon, at yung insurance company ng kotse na yon ang magtutulong sa inyo with regard to the property damage claim, at yung insurance ng bumangga sa inyo ang mag-compensate sa any civil actions that you will pursue.
So can I clarify that, Ace, that they are making a claim not against the person but to the insurance?
Yes, ma'am. So we call them the insured. So the driver who is at fault, we call it the insured. At wag kasi ito rin, very very good question yan, ma'am, no? It's a situation where may mga kababayan tayo na mga bait. It's very good that that's the case, no, na bata pa lang siya, very apologetic naman and all that, mukhang wala siyang may babayad sa akin, and so on and so forth. It is a situation na hindi siya ang magbabayad ng mga losses sa'yo. Yung insurance company ng CTP claim ng kotse niya ang magbabayad sa inyo kung na-injure kayo. You have to distinguish property damage claim to a CTP claim. Yung property damage, assessment ng property, yung kotse ninyo. Yung CTP claim assessment ninyo bilang tao na injure dahil sa aksidente.
Oo nga. Yun ang karaniwan nating nadidinig minsan kahit na magkapitbahay, di ba? No? Kapitbahay ko naman siya, hayaan na lang natin. Pero ka na, napilayan ka na or something, no? Oo. And it does happen even in Australia. It's not, it's very common that, Filipinos retain the traits of, very kind and understanding. But then at the end of it all, ito nga yung sinasabi namin, you're not really making kaaway out of your neighbors, no? This is not the case because may mga insurance nga po tayo eh. So yun yung magbabayad as long as dun sa kung anumang damages o anumang perwisyong nagawa sa
iyo. To add to that, dun sa ating kababayan na nag-ask ng question, no, I have to also inform everyone of the 3-year limitation period.
Ayun.
Meaning na you have 3 years to institute your claim to court. And throughout that 3 years, kailangan you've also been able to run the process of running a claim outside of court. Pero yun nga, very important yung ating 3-year limitation period from the date of the accident, from the date of injury. Same with workers' compensation. Well, yeah, motor vehicle accidents per se.
Paano guys yung mga injuries na nasusustain nila because of repetitions and prolonged standing? How are they going to mark the date of the injury?
So yan po sa going back to balik tayo sa workers' compensation claim, no, pinag-usapan yung motor vehicle accident kanina. with a workers' compensation claim, repetitive work, no, it's very very important then kasi meron din tayong 3-year limitation period dyan. And if it's a situation na we call it an over a period of time or an OPT injury, it is a situation na we have to trace back to when you first feel that pain because of repetitive movements and all that. And it's not a situation na kahit ba, for example, nararamdaman mo na siya, nireport mo na siya in June 2021, for example. Tapos, nireport mo siya at you made a claim in December 2021. So it is a situation na maaari, we can trace it back to June 2021 na nag-start yung pain mo sa shoulder because of repetitive movements, when lifting or carrying and so on and so forth.
Yeah, oo. Halimbawa, marami tayong mga childcare workers, no? Yung buhat ng bata, minsan malalaki pa sa kanila yung mga batang binubuhat nila, no? So yun, importante pala yun, no? Kung dati hindi naman sumasakit yung mga likuran nila, yung mga balakang nila or whatever because araw-araw yata nagbubuhat ng mga bata. I think that's very important na malaman ng ating mga ating tagapakinig.
Kaya kung nararamdaman nyo na yung pain, i-report nyo na agad or go to the doctor and seek information kung ano yung mga karapatan ninyo. Kasi it's a situation na the last thing you want is to lose the entitlement because hindi nyo alam yung inyong karapatan.
Yeah. Oo. I'm very concerned dun sa iba na alam mo yung mga disability workers, yung mga family disability workers who actually go to the homes of their clients and sometimes they are by themselves. Pero minsan merong mga clients na abusive sa kanila or sometimes biting them minsan o kaya pulling their hair or whatever. Is that part of the injury that they can claim?
Of course, ma'am. If you're injured at work, then you are entitled for it, and it is a situation that you can report of the incident per se. I think I just got 2 clients recently where she was abused by a young kid. Na hindi lang abusive through words but also physical, na binatukan, na in-abuse, na sinuntok ng ating kababayan na babae, and it's quite traumatizing for her mentally as well. So kanyang so we're she's now running a workers' compensation claim kahit ba parte, I wouldn't want to say na parte yun ng kanyang trabaho pero ang nangyari while she was working. Meron tayong question dito, ma'am, no?
Yeah, yes.
If existing slip disc ang employee at nag-complain while at work, may claim po ba? Galing kay Chris Karen. The short answer is yes. Pre-existing injuries, kahit pa meron ka ng sakit dun sa existing injury na naramdaman mo, pwede ka pa rin mag-workers' compensation claim o pwede ka pa rin mag-claim. The award of compensation or any lump sum payment will then be affected for any pre-existing injury. However, yan, doktor na ang magsasabi kung ano ba yung percentage ng impairment mo dahil sa trabaho mo or dahil sa pre-existing injury mo. And if that is the case, yung i-compensate lang sa iyo yung percentage ng injury mo dahil sa trabaho na ginagawa mo or sa incident na nangyari sa trabaho?
Oh, Ace, meron ding mga issue na, limbawa yung mga dishwasher sa mga restaurants, no? Sabi nila, dishwasher lang naman ako, maliit lang siguro yung makukuha ko. I mean, na-aksidente sila o nadulas sila, no? Yun sabi niya, dishwasher lang naman ako, maliit lang yung makukuha ko. Tama bang, is that the right attitude or assessment in their situation?
It's very interesting that you to mention that. No, the more physical your work is, right? If anything, I keep on saying this, the entitlement for you can actually be bigger because if you are physically injured and you are doing a physical job, be it a dishwasher or a cook, for example, kapag hindi ka na makabalik sa trabaho mo, mas malaki yung pwede mong makuha, than a sedentary job or tayong mga abogado, no? Kasi pwede naman tayong magtrabaho kahit ganito. Usap tayo sa Zoom, hindi naman natin kailangan gumalaw na or gamitin yung ating katawan in as much as a cook or a dishwasher. So hindi dapat ganun yung mindset kahit ba we have to take out that lang, dishwasher lang ako or cook lang ako, cleaner lang ako. Hindi yun. Cleaners, for example, is a very physical job. At kapag nagkaroon ka ng injury physically, then it's hard for you to return back to work and you need to be compensated for that.
Tapos meron ding isa, there are other views din na, bata ka pa naman, kaya mo pa yan? Or
again, ma'am, I have a misconception. No? In quantifying a person and quantifying the claim of a person, it is a situation that we're not just talking about past economic loss, meaning from the date of the accident until mediation or trying to find a settlement. We're also talking about any future economic loss. And here in Australia, the retirement age is 67, right? If, for example, mas malaki pa yung age period mo or yung period of you being able to work, syempre, how can you quantify that? Mas malaki yung dapat mong makuha kaysa dun sa mga claimants na malapit nang mag-retire. So we have to also have a mindset of we're not just getting compensated for the past, but we're also getting compensated for any future losses as well.
Oo. Ace, yung mga fisherman natin,
Yes, ma'am.
kasi common yung kanilang aksidente, when they throw the hook, nahuhook yung minsan yung mata nila, or minsan yung tenga nila, or minsan yung ilong nila o yung lips nila, kaya minsan nagkakaroon sila ng mga dito yung mga marka ng pero they tend to just ignore, forget about it, and then come to work back again tomorrow, parang ganon. So how do you see those situations?
Ma'am, it's the same thing as any other employees or any other workers who are in any other types of jobs. If you are injured at work, be it being a fisherman, be it a teacher, be a cook or whatever that may be, you have to fight for your entitlement and get compensated if you are injured whilst at work. Huwag mong isipin ang kasalanan mo. Kahit ba may instances na maaaring kasalanan mo nga, meron ka pa rin ma-compensate to get rehabilitation and get compensated for any injury that can be permanent. So yun nga, pinag-usapan natin yung stage 1 ng permanent ng workers' compensation claim.
Yeah. The reason why I'm asking, kasi may nagpunta rito nung I think few weeks ago, actually nabulag siya, no? He's a fisherman. Nabulag siya. It's not funny, but natatawa ako dun sa reaction niya sa kanyang experience sa buhay niya, no? Parang he just regarded it as part of job na magkaroon siya ng injury na ganoon. No, so I said, what happened to you? Kasi nabulag siya. Tinamaan ng hook yung kanyang yung kanyang mata. And I asked him, did you actually claim for that? And he just said, no, it's okay. I still have another eye.
Oh, ma'am, yan yung masakit pakinggan bilang mga advocate for injury claims, no? Like us, no? It is a situation na nakakahina na hindi pinaglalaban ng ating mga kababayan yung karapatan nila, especially kapag na-injure sila. It's a situation kasi na it's not just, you know, if it's really a freak accident, then it is a freak accident, right? But it is if it is a situation, if we can argue that proper training should have been done on how to do this and how to do that. I'm not a
Yes.
fisherman, so I do not know the extent of it at this stage, no. But you know, we need to understand those types of work and the way in which
Yes.
what should have been done or what training should be done for them to do their job properly.
That's
At
right.
kung hindi naibigay yun sa ating mga kababayang fisherman, at dahil doon na-injure sila, then kailangan nilang ilaban yun.
Yep. Yeah. And we're going back to the opening a while ago when you said that, look, this is not only about you, but it's also for future employees and future Filipinos. They need to be protected. They need to go to their workplace with safety in mind, and with feeling that they are safe, they are secured, they are protected, and all the devices and all the system that should protect them and keep them, happy in their job should be there. Right? Yeah. So we have one question. Si Chris Kieran, no? Sabi niya, Attorney, would you rather not employ people with existing health problem para iwas of workers' compensation? Would you rather not, Ace, if you are the employer?
Well, Mom, you can't really, you know, we all have mental issues. We all have it's just a different from one from another. No, if my mindset is this thing as an employer myself. If some who is the best person for the job, and if that person can do the job, then it is what it is.
Yep. And we do not want to perpetuate discrimination because of their health
Absolutely.
condition. As A said, it will be based on merit. If you can do the job, then so be it, regardless of whatever. But we know that there are jobs that require other things in order for you to perform well. So it will be up to the employer.
Pero
But
bilang sa akin, ma'am, no, sorry. Ako bilang isang employer myself with Little's lawyers, you know, I look at a person's ability to perform his or her their duties.
of course,
And kung kaya naman nila at magaling naman talaga sila, then why not?
yeah. So it's not really a matter of avoiding workers' compensation. That's inevitable in any company because, accidents can happen. Most of them are unintentional, so it just happened. Kaya lang it will flag the employers, the employees, and the people, the working people, that there can be, or there must be something to be done. Yun lang naman yun, so para maka-in place ng mga system. I think we've done a lot and we have covered a lot of things. Nako, Ace, thank you very much for this. This will be up in our Facebook page ng Auspac Visa, and this will also be up in our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel has 8,000 subscribers, and our Facebook page has more than 5,000 followers. And this will all go up to the discussion group ng Pinoy migration to Australia and New Zealand. We also have 8,000 members there. So be ready, Ace. You'll probably be getting a lot of inquiries. I know how personal and how critical the issues are that are discussed here. I know some people do not want to put their questions there, mainly because it's personal. But this is something beautiful. You can always contact Ace anytime you like. Just go Little's Lawyer, search for Ace, and Ace will be there. Now, he's always available for Filipinos. I know that because I know that because
and same goes to you, ma'am. No, and we thank you for your contribution to the Filipino community here in Australia and New Zealand as well. I think you are also a pillar in the community, and I personally thank you for advocating for our Filipino community as well. Yun naman yung ating advocacy at the end of the day. And tuwang ko po kayo to make sure that our community is informed fully of their legal rights.
Yes, and that's very important. So with that, we would like to say thank you to everyone. You can watch the video; it will be up. You can go back to the areas that you wanted to listen to. And next week we are going to have another exciting episode or edition. So next week we are going to tackle the accountancy law in Australia. We are going to have Christopher Ramos. Christopher Ramos is a certified public accountant, and he wanted to share us the information on basic accounting. So itong mga basic na to, just like what Ace did a while ago, these are probably basic, pero ito yung mga bagay na nahirapan tayong mag-jump in, ano? And I think it's very important for Filipinos here in Queensland and in other parts of Australia to basically know what they can claim sa tax nila and what they can do, and if they have the business, ano yung mga gagawin nila at kasama ba sila dun sa mga regulation, o baka naman may nabi-breach na tayong mga batas na hindi natin alam na dapat nating malaman before it's too late. Okay? So with that, maraming salamat po sa mga nakinig ngayon. We'll see you on Wednesday. So next Wednesday, we're early again, 5:30. So see you. And thank you very much, Ace. Maraming salamat. And see you around. Thank you. Bye-bye.